Hello, welcome to this YouTube channel. Today I will discuss on the famous poem Digging by Seamus Heaney. As you can see, it is in your British Literature post-World War II paper that actually named as DSE-T-2, that is Theory 2. Before going to this particular text, let us say something about Seamus Heaney. Seamus Heaney was born in April of 1939 as the eldest of 9 children at the family farmhouse called Mossbourne near Castle Dawson in Northern Ireland. His father's real commitment was cattle dealing, while his mother came from a family called McCann, whose connections were more with the modern world with the traditional rural economy. Heaney grew up as a country boy, attending Anahorish Primary School in New Cambridge, and when he won a scholarship to St. Columb's College in Derry. In the same year, his family decided to move to another farmhouse in Bellaghy when he was 14 years old. His little brother was killed in a road accident. He would later write about that event in two of his poems. In 1957, Heaney traveled to Belfast to study English language and literature at the Queen's University of Belfast. He got the graduation in 1961. Then he did his teacher training at St. Joseph's Teacher Training College in Belfast. And then he went on a placement to St. Thomas's Secondary Intermediate School in Belfast too, whose headmaster, the writer Michael McLeverty, introduced Heaney to the poetry of Patrick Kavanagh, being the first time he started to publish his poetry in 1962. In 1963, he met Philip Hobsbawm, who set up a Belfast group of local young poets, which brought Heaney to be in contrast with other poets of the town. Although he is stylistically and temperamentally different from those other writers, he does shares with all of them the fate of having been born into a society deeply divided along religious and political lines. This had the effect not only of darkening the mood of his work in 1970, but also of giving him a deep preoccupation with the question of poetry, responsibilities, and prerogatives in the world. In 1965, he married Mary Devlin. In the same year, his first book, 11 Poems, was published. In the following year, Faber and Faber published his first volume called Death of a Naturalist, which made him win a lot of awards. In 1968, Heaney took part in a reading tour called Room to Rhyme. After a lot of publications, he was awarded a Nobel Prize in Literature in 1995. In 1996, his collection, The Spirit Level, was published and won the White Bread Book of the Year award. He won the same award after publishing Beowulf, a new translation. On the year 2006, Heaney suffered a stroke from which he recovered, but he had to cancel all his public engagement for some months. Related to his features, his work often deals with everything that surrounds him. This means Ireland, and especially Northern Ireland. We also can find hints of violence in his poems. In addition, many of his work deal with his own family history. Finally, his influence is not restricted to Ireland, but is felt worldwide. In 1966, as you can see, that Seamus published his first collection of poems that is called Death of a Naturalist, which deals with the loss of childhood innocence and the following transitions into adulthood. In this collection of poems, we are shown his admiration for his ancestors, his own distorted view of nature, and why he became a writer. The first poem of that collection is Digging, which is the reconciliatory expression of an artist who will not follow in his father and grandfather's footsteps as a common laborer. It concerns his admiration for his father's and grandfather's skill for digging. This poem is a free verse poem. with 8 stanzas, as you can find, containing 2 couplets. In addition, there is no consistent rhyme scheme, although it has some rhymes. Moreover, it is written in the first-person narrative. We can see that the first line of the first stanza, it begins with the first-person form. And so far as the title is concerned, related to the title, it is only when we have read the poem carefully then we realize that all the 3 generations are involved in digging. His grandfather digging turf, his father is digging up potatoes, and he is digging up his memories and his past. So the title is good and right, because reading it we can guess more or less about what we are going to be told in the poem. At least we can guess that the poem deals with digging. So ultimately, what I'm trying to suggest here, that whenever you will try to read the poem Digging, you need to know that what was the background of Seamus Heaney, why Heaney is writing in this very pattern. For example, whenever you will try to read the poems by the famous modern writers of this particular period, you will find that the most of the poems are to some extent satiric in its temperament. Most of the writings are to some extent questioning the form of living, questioning the society. But when you will find that Seamus Heaney in this particular poem, he is not actually questioning the society, questioning the class, questioning the various kinds of problems. Rather, Heaney is trying to refer to the particular reason why he has become a poet, not a common farmer or laborer, just like his father or maybe his grandfather. So, how Seamus Heaney is stating this, how Seamus Heaney is presenting this, we will take a look through the lines in our next lecture. Thank you.